Well, welcome back to Washington. So just who are the candidates in the presidential election? Both have lived much of their lives in the public eye, but yet mysteries swirl around them. In just a moment, we'll hear from the author of Trump Nation, a biography naturally of Donald Trump. But first, I'm joined by the journalist and author Suzanne Goldenberg, author of Madam President, to find out more about candidate Hillary Clinton. Very good to see you, Suzanne. Madam President, is that you making the title? Is that you making an assumption?
Well, there was a question mark at the end of the titles, which I think
is...
is...
get that inflection in my voice.
Yeah, so I think that is a question. Is America ready to elect a woman to be president? I originally wrote that book in 2008, but 8 years later, it's just as much a big question.
So, yeah, I mean, you've looked into the background, and this is both, I suppose, the advantage and the impediment for Hillary Clinton, isn't it? The length of time she's witnessed and been in public service, right back to Arkansas, Bill Clinton as governor, then president, then she's a senator, then Secretary of State. Well, clearly she's prepared, but people just go, as Donald Trump says, you're an insider.
That is true. And she is really caught in this predicament, and it's a predicament that's about gender. On the one hand, you know, she has to show that she has the experience to be president, to overcome this idea that women are too soft-hearted, too flighty, that somehow can't deal with the rigors of office. But on the other hand, that long resume comes with baggage, and baggage from the scandals of the Clinton White House when her husband Bill Clinton was president, and from what has been her own record as Secretary of State.
Just talk about how tricky that was for her during the Bill Clinton years in the White House and those scandals, the kind of standing by your man approach that she took.
Absolutely. At that time, you know, Hillary Clinton sort of saved her husband's presidency by standing by her man. But the way she did it actually hurt her own image, because she actually quoted Tammy Wynette and she said, "I'm not standing by my man like some old country western song. I'm doing it because I honor what he's done." And so she annoyed a lot of people. She hit a nerve with a lot of people. And that, in some ways, is the beginning of, you know, this whole idea of Hillary Clinton as a polarizing figure. For some women, she's inspirational. For other women and men, she's too much to take.
But then you looked into that first term, 92 to 96, when she did want to get involved. I mean, use her considerable intellect, get involved as First Lady and be more than just the decorative First Lady. And she got slapped back for that. She got a huge amount of criticism.
She did. And I would argue that there was a lot going on there. For one, there were these perceptions about what a First Lady should do. Should it be an entirely ceremonial role? Should it be, you know, she wanted to drive directly into policy. She wanted to be White House Chief of Staff at first. Then she settled for having this big lift of the health care policy. There was a backlash against that, but I think you also have to acknowledge that the way Hillary Clinton conducted that exercise was flawed from the beginning. She made a lot of mistakes.
And why do you think, I mean, right, fast forward up to now, why do you think she hasn't been able to get any of that magic that, in a different way, of course, that President Obama, then candidate Obama, was able to do in 2008. I remember being in Boston, where he's from, and people who weren't Democrats saying, we want to vote for this guy. Imagine the United States has its first African-American president. Well, now it's on the cusp. It could have its first female president, but there's none of that buzz going around.
There's none of that buzz. And you have to acknowledge also that Barack Obama is an incredibly gifted politician and public speaker. And when he comes to the stage, time after time, it's just magical many times. Hillary Clinton is much more prosaic campaigner. So there's that as well. And there is that long record that we've just talked about. And there is inbuilt resistance to the idea of women rising to that highest office.
But I mean, amongst women in particular, does any of that idea that she may be about to break through the glass ceiling, does that resonate? Is that connecting?
That's huge. That's huge. If you look at the numbers, you know, she has in some parts of the population a 20-point lead about Donald Trump. And he, in a way, has played into that because of who he is. And he's, you know, it's very stark now what the choice is in terms of women and, you know, the role of women in society. You know, you've got Donald Trump, who's sort of made constant derogatory remarks about women and has sort of joked about sexual assault of women. You've got some of his surrogates now on the campaign trail making dismissive comments about women. And then you have Hillary Clinton, who stands for women's advancement. And I have seen through the polling numbers a lot of women responding to that message. they're really fed up with the kind of remarks that Trump has been making.
And what's your take, Suzanne, on the whole email scandal? I mean, what's your belief on what went wrong? Is it just that she didn't get it, she didn't understand it? Clearly not a spy or anything like that,
no,
but just feeling entitled. I don't have to do this.
This is Hillary Clinton's bad side, which is Hillary Clinton is a paranoid control freak. She really thought that she did not have to allow the public to look at her email. That was the only reason to put the server in the basement. She did not want freedom of information requests from journalists. She did not want biographers to be looking at all of that email. It's not that she used the State Department email for government business and the private for private. She wanted all of her email off the books.
Well, great talking to you, Suzanne. Thank you very much indeed. We're going to give us a bit of insight into Hillary Clinton. Suzanne Goldberg there.
Thank you.